What's up, everybody? Welcome to 3D Rivals, your first line of defense against stupid movies. My name is DJ, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, my sister, Darla, and my brother, Derek.
What's up, everybody?
This week, you guys, we are talking about Greenland. It is a movie. It was available on HBO Max. Didn't come out in theaters, but it's starring Russell Crowe and...
Nope.
Not Russell Crowe. Oh, wow. Gerard Butler. Man, I seem really bad right now. Starring Gerard Butler, and I forget her name, but she's the girlfriend from Deadpool. I forget her name. You know her name?
No. Yeah. And she was also Lee Thompson on Gotham.
Yes.
Yes, she was on Gotham as well. And it is a disaster movie. I'm going to put that in a bit of quotations because I have some interesting things to say about this movie. So I'm going to start with my small thoughts before we get into the bigger meat of this movie. This is a surprisingly good disaster movie, which I think approaches the disaster genre in a different way. And I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like the disaster part of this movie was kind of in the background, and they focus way more on the characters, the main characters of the movie, which to me made the movie better.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, that because it was just the disaster wasn't happening around them, but you were seeing it from the point of view from other people, which is different because your standard disaster movie is scientists giving a warning, talk, and then, they show the, destroying landmarks and all of that.
Yeah.
And here we didn't have all that. And the information we got about the meteorite was from, like, news on the radio or clips from the TV. But it gave you all of the emotion and feeling of the family that you were following.
Right. I do like that. Although we did get the separated family trope of disaster movies where why is the husband and wife always like not in a completely happy relationship in disaster movies? What's
like,
the deal?
I don't know, because they always end up together anyways.
Yeah.
Like, why make them divorced to begin with?
I don't know.
Because, come on, like, the guy's not going to go back for her.
Yeah. And I would say it wasn't even that big important for this movie. They didn't even have to be. No, they could have just been married.
I wonder how y'all feel about this. Do y'all feel like this was like a better 2012? Because I felt like the concept was exactly the same.
Yes, I feel like this is Deep Impact in 2012 put together.
Okay.
But 100 times better.
Definitely better than those movies.
Yes, we'll say that.
What I was going to say about the family was we didn't get the whole trope of her not believing him and blah, blah, blah. And then now he's got to force him out, and none of that. From start to finish, they were kind of on the same page, even though they were forced apart. They were on the same page from start to finish, which I did appreciate. I didn't dislike any of the characters in here.
Exactly. While watching, I was like, wow, this is the first disaster movie where I didn't hope that one of the main characters died. Like, real talk. Usually there's like a really annoying kid. Even the kid wasn't annoying.
Yes.
No one put themselves in unnecessary danger.
Was smart.
He was.
The kid was smart.
I'm going to get to that scene with the kid, but I was so happy.
Yes.
So happy when the kid did a certain thing. We're going to talk about that.
I was like, boy, you better open your mouth.
But it was one of those things where I'm watching this movie, and the way the disaster is going, there are chances of actually making it and surviving is like nil, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here like, you bet not kill this family.
I was thinking, I'm like, they're not going to make it. And I was thinking that eventually that they were just going to be like, well, at least we're all together.
I would have been so mad.
I think that might have made it a little bit better.
No, I was going to be angry.
Because
I wanted them to survive.
The end of the movie ended up being the end of all disaster movies.
Well, yeah.
Think about it. It was 99% better than all the movies until the end, and then it was the same.
It was the same. It's the way I wanted it to end, though. And I don't have a problem with it because this time I cared about the family.
Okay.
in the other movies, like you said, at least sometimes there's this one person or stuff you don't want to survive. But like, man, they went through so much, and I think that's why I was like, I swear, they better make it through it. So, I guess we better talk about what the disaster is. Mm-hmm. So, what's the disaster?
So it was a comet named Clark.
Interesting name.
And yeah. And so through the beginning of the movie, everyone's talking about it. Like we hear about comets that are like, oh, this comet's going to pass by the Earth. Harmless. It's so far away. So basically, all the news stories was kind of like that. Like small fragments may hit, but it's not going to be a big deal. You should be able to see it. But apparently that was all lies.
Yeah.
And so it turns out, so first there was a bunch of little fragments, and then one big, I think they call it extinction, whatever. Planet-killing comments.
Yeah.
That was going to basically...
Supposedly it was supposed to have been bigger than what wiped out the dinosaurs.
Yes. Bigger than what killed the dinosaurs. That will basically wipe out the Earth. And so certain select people got selected to be put into shelters to survive this comet hitting.
Now, I understand, while it's difficult, I do understand the decision to have select people, because you can't take the entire world, right? Fine, we understand. And they selected, and I give them kudos for not being racist, but they selected people who would benefit starting a new society of people. So, engineers, doctors, scientists, things like that, which makes sense. Sucks for everybody else, but it makes sense. And in watching this, I was like, so Darla is going to be chosen for being saved while the rest of us die, because I realized that my job holds no importance to society at all. That's cool.
I also thought that,
and you can't have any ailments either. You had to be
healthy.
So I understand what they mean. That was so dirty, though.
It was, and when they revealed it, I was like, oh man, that's messed up. But I agree. When I was watching it, I was like, oh hey, I would get selected, or at least I will be in the lottery.
Yeah.
You would be in the lottery to be selected.
So but awesome.
The rest, you would be by yourself. DJ wouldn't make it. Our parents wouldn't make it because they got underlying health problems.
Yeah, that's okay. I can make friends.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
thanks for being okay with leaving us behind.
I would miss you guys.
To be incinerated by a comet. Cool. No, I would try and find a way to survive this.
I mean, they did.
Well, they went to the bunker.
Who said?
And I mean, I feel like.
What do you feel like?
There were some survivors.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
There were definitely some survivors besides the bunkers. So yeah, and that was the general premise. The governments around the world selected people to survive this event, and they put them in Cold War era bunkers around the planet, which is part of my nitpicks, but I will get to that.
Okay. So should I not ask my question? Should we save it?
Save it for nitpicks, because it might be the same question that I have.
All right.
And that's the premise of the movie. Their family was selected. They make it there, but since their kid needs insulin, they're like, yeah, nah. And I'm pretty sure they would have told them, leave your kid and you can come.
I thought that lady was going to give them that choice. I'm like, man, that's dirty.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure they would have taken
them the choice of, well, the father just come and he leaves the mother and the kid behind.
There's no way. There's no way I'm leaving my wife and children. Like, well, I'll start this new civilization.
Well, we know that wasn't his case, because he even left and went back after him. So
yeah.
So they got separated because he had to go back and find an insulin pump for the kid, and then they kicked the mother out, and then he went. So that's where this movie really gets started, and the chaos ensues. Crazy people.
But I feel like everyone in the military wasn't on the same page. because when he said, let me go back and get his insulin, the one military person was like, yeah, okay. And he was like, will I be able to get back in? Yes.
I
Then
don't
the other
think.
military person
Did he
walked
mention
up and was
insulin?
like, wait,
Yeah, I don't think he told them why he
he
had to
said
leave.
medicine.
Did he? I don't know if
Okay,
he
maybe
told
not.
them why he had to leave.
Because
And medicine's
okay,
fine. They just can't have a
A
chronic
chronic illness.
illness. And
I
I
okay, you know
understand.
what? You guys are right because I don't think insulin was mentioned until she asked him how he was feeling.
Right.
Here's my thing. Did she? Why did she go up and talk to that guy? I feel like she had no reason to do that.
She shouldn't have.
No,
I don't like. I don't
the guy
understand why she
came.
did
Oh,
it.
the guy
No,
came.
no,
Well,
no. She went to them because she wanted to make sure her husband got on the same plane.
Oh no, she ain't had to
yes,
talk to that guy.
That's what she
She
was
just
doing.
yeah,
stand outside and wait for him to come back.
yes.
Yeah.
And then the dude
In
was like,
hindsight,
"Wait, did you say insulin?"
Yeah.
And then
and
that
she tried
whole
to take it
issue.
back. She's like, just pretend I didn't say it. Right? Just pretend I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I feel her though. Like, just pretend I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I'm already here. You want to kick me out? I'm already here. Y'all selected us. It was y'all mistake.
Yeah.
I'm here. I feel her on that, but they kicked her out, which is dirty. And again, I understand the reasoning because supplies and all of that, and people, you're one probably not going to be able to take care of the person with chronic illness. That's two nitpicks I have at the end.
I have one
Um,
about that too.
and I understand it, but still, man,
It's dirty.
gosh,
Yeah.
gosh,
Man, I
I
just
feel like the
realized.
government would be like that for real.
Yeah,
yes,
Like I'm
because you
not gonna.
figuring how long are they gonna be in that bunker?
they were in there for
They
nine
were in
months.
there for 9 months. If you have
Yeah,
someone with,
which I have a nitpick about that.
yeah, so you have someone with a chronic illness, can they survive that 9 months? Do you got people that has to be focused on rebuilding the country and the
Rebuilding.
world?
Hmm.
Yeah.
A chronic
And if you
illness,
run out of supplies,
yeah,
if you run out of food, if people are relatively in good health, you can ration a lot better.
Besides, if you're restarting the planet, you're gonna want, not to be like detrimental or anything, but you're not gonna want the genes that lead to some of the chronic
yeah. You want
illnesses.
young, healthy, and vibrant.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, my odds in this lottery just gets better and better.
Whatever. All right, let's talk about the general public, which you wouldn't believe, but since we went through 2020, I guess you could believe. But man, are people horrible?
People are awful, and it
Horrible.
made no sense.
My God! First of all, they're all bum rushing the military bases in order to get on the planes. No, that and I'm gonna be honest. If I'm in this situation, I'm not doing that. I know it's like with the hope I can get on the plane and get to the safe spot, but it's run by the military. I'm not. I'm not going to get in. I'm not
No.
going to get in. Like I feel like it's a waste of time. We can figure something else out, which is hard in this particular disaster because it's almost like where do you go?
Right. You don't know because there was no information given, which I felt like was really dirty on the government's part.
I feel like they definitely could have informed
Like,
the
give
public.
people false hope. Tell me to go to Mexico and I can be safe. At least let me pretend like I'm saving my family.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Well,
Go ahead,
so
Derek.
cold of what they did before it got to that point. When my dude got the presidential alert on the phone and no one else phone went off,
Yeah. I
and
got a
then it
nitpick
was
about
on
that.
the TV. Then it
Just,
was on the TV,
yeah.
and he was just like, "Oh, maybe you would get it soon." Yeah,
Yeah.
but the lady in the street though pulled at my heartstrings.
Oh, yeah.
Heartbreaking, but
She was just like,
I feel like you
"Just
can't.
take my daughter." But he was right though. Like he was right. He said, "What if we get there and they let us in and don't let her in?"
Right.
It's
And
not
she's
what if.
left there
It's the
by
same
herself.
reason I wouldn't. I
And
say I
that's
wouldn't decide to go and try to bum rush the military base. He had the same reasoning. They take that girl with them. They go all the way to the military base. We saw it later in the movie. They're gonna be like, okay, where's her band?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
where's the code for her?
Yeah.
She's not. Nope.
So either you all don't get
Yeah.
in or you leave her behind.
Yeah, and then she's gonna be left behind without her mother,
Yeah.
which
Without
is
her.
I feel worse.
Yeah, but that was horrible because like his neighbors, first of all, they were at his house.
Yeah, so they know about it.
They know all about it. They're all friends. They know each other, and they're in the streets. And they're basically just like, "Well, what about us?" And they're like, "Well, please just take Ellie. Just take her."
But the message was like no exceptions.
Yeah, I
no
mean,
exceptions.
I get it, but like that scene when we say this movie is more emotional with more feeling than anything,
Yeah.
it was such a great feeling because like the kid is crying in the back, the parents is crying, and he's just like, "We just can't do it."
Yeah.
And you felt awful, but he was absolutely
Yeah,
right.
he was right. What else? What else is he gonna do?
Yeah.
And I would feel worse with them taking the girl when we get to the
Yeah.
military base. Now, I definitely wouldn't try and storm a military base. I feel like they overrated how don't get me wrong, this comet definitely would have done damage to the entire planet. And they're like extinction on the level of the dinosaurs, right? But the dinosaurs didn't have the structures we have, right? Was there no place underground we could run to that would have survived the comet? Right, because you're thinking about, especially if you go further out west, the big comet hit northern Africa and southern Europe, right? Mm-hmm. So you're talking about the shockwave and heat from the shockwave going around. There had to be some places, like even some sewers, I feel like survived.
I agree. I feel like something, which is why we say that some people who didn't make it to the bunker survived for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like not giving people a chance to figure out, how to survive. Like tell them your best bet is to be underground.
Shelter somewhere.
Shelter in place underground, X amount of miles from, where it landed.
Yeah.
So if that means I need to go to middle of nowhere, Texas or something, give me that chance.
Right.
And there was like, the lack of information was astounding.
Yeah, and I think like their reasoning
I
is
also feel like they couldn't figure out exactly where it was.
No, they've
Like I
always
feel
said it was going to hit Southern Europe.
I think when they knew, when they were sending them to the bunkers, they knew about the big comet and
They
the
did.
estimated spot of where it would land. Otherwise, why were you picking those
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, when he got that alert, which means to me, they knew about this a long time ago.
At least a few days.
A
At
few
least
days.
because they had to pick people.
Yeah, that's a long process.
yeah, you would. You would.
And they had
They-
to get agreement from Greenland to send the American citizens there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So yeah, really dirty on the world's government's part. On everyone
Very much. And the reasoning was not to cause a panic, but I feel like you made it worse. You made it worse by not telling people. Like you said, give people a chance.
Yeah.
Tell them what is the best way to survive. And then still send out like, hey, you're selected to go here and survive.
Yeah.
If you're not selected, your best choice is this. And then
Yeah.
maybe you wouldn't have had such a big crowd at
Yeah,
the...
because I mean, everyone wants to like survive, right? So I would rather die fighting than to just have no hope.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Yeah. So, but okay. We mentioned they got separated. Let's talk about the mother and the kid. Hooey. So they get back to the car and it's messed up, why? Oh, we were still talking about people, right? Yes.
yeah.
Because, I mean, they weren't at the base for that long. What, a half
Yeah.
hour or
And they
something?
trashed their car.
The car was trashed by the time they got back. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Yeah, people started looting the empty cars.
Yeah.
Looting. Okay. Extinction level event, right? Why am I stealing TVs?
Yeah, like what you gonna do with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what am I do with a flat screen TV? Idiots.
Yeah. Just dumb. I'm just gonna be in the basement. Like literally just in
Yeah.
my basement.
Now,
So what are you breaking into cars and stealing out of there? Like, what's in there?
Loose
Like, there's
chains.
nothing in there.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you ain't buying nothing because people tearing up the stores, and all the stores is closed. So there's no use of money.
yeah, well, yeah, money means nothing at this point. So, like, that's whatever. And we mentioned the kid had insulin. Since he didn't have his pump, she had to go to a pharmacy to try to get the insulin he needed. And there were people there trying to get medicine they needed. that was 100% understandable. If you're quote unquote looting, because I really wouldn't call this looting, but if you're looting anything, you're taking stuff you need to survive, right? And she went in the pharmacy to get her son's insulin. 100%, I'm okay with whatever. End of the world, like we said, money means nothing. Just get the insulin so your kid doesn't die.
Yeah.
But people come up in there shooting people?
It made no sense. Like, what were they doing? Because they were shooting, saying, get out, but then they were shooting people, and that old lady died, and I felt bad for her. She didn't have a name. She was just old lady, and they shot her.
She was
They
in
just shot her.
a wheelchair, right? Like, that's what was the guy, old guy was pushing in a wheelchair, right?
Yeah, she was in a wheelchair.
She was in a wheelchair. It's so dirty. And we would say, that wouldn't happen. But I feel like it would. 100%.
It definitely would. It definitely would. And then she leaves one horrible incident and ends up in another one.
This next one kind of pisses me off. Because, okay, so they still have their wristbands, right? Because they went to the military base. They got rejected, but they went. And, I mean, I don't know. The lady she found was nice, you know? So, and it's like, I need a ride. We can't walk all the way. She's going to her father's house.
Right, they're in Atlanta. Her father lives in Kentucky. You can't walk.
Yeah. Not enough time to survive, so they asked them for a ride. Fine. And, like, you know, if any time to trust strangers, I guess it's when the world's going to blow up.
I feel like it's something that most people would do. In times like this, you rely on the kindness of others.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you hear about a lot of good stories. I think when that snowstorm in Texas, there was a story about how strangers when delivery people stay in their house for 2 days because they got stuck and couldn't get out. That's the kindness of other strangers helping strangers.
Yeah.
So her asking for this lady for a ride makes perfect sense, except for they were awful people.
Yes. Well, okay. So they're fine, and then her husband finds out they have bands, and he gets the idea that, hey, man, maybe we can take their bands and the little kid, let's kidnap the little kid because there's no way they turn away this little kid. Not mentioning she told you they turned him away.
Well, remember the guy said, well, because she's like, he got rejected because of his health.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, maybe it was just the people he was with. How does that make sense?
It makes zero sense.
How does that make sense?
So my dude forces her out of the car and drives off with her kid, which again is another like kind of heartbreaking part of this movie. This is why I feel like this movie is just such a different take on disaster movies, because like the scenes like this is what we're focusing on, and not the meteor coming to the planet or comet. And like I was like, what's wrong with you? And then like his wife wasn't in on it at first.
But she just went along with it.
And I'm like, you just gonna go along with this dude? Like, well, I guess we're kidnapping a kid now?
I kept expecting her to get out of the car and shoot her husband or do, you know what I mean? Like, while he was like trying to yank the mother out the car, I expected his wife to like shoot him or something, but like, we are not doing this.
At least try and stop him, but she just stays in the car and then just goes along with, kidnapping this kid.
Yeah, crazy.
I'm like, and so their plan was to use the kid.
Oh yeah, that's in my nitpicks. You're absolutely right. She should have. You're absolutely right.
She did not fight hard at all.
She did not. I felt like, girl, you did not throw no punches, no spits, no scratches. I'm like, you need to fight harder for your kid.
Mm-hmm. Should have gone for that low blow.
Absolutely.
100%, multiple times.
Yeah, I'm like,
get your kid.
She did not fight. But I will say this. She was smart. She didn't panic. She got another ride. And she knew where they were going. Yeah. And she went there and she got her kid.
That was smart. Yeah. So
she knew that they were not going to get in.
No.
Yeah.
No, and they tried it. And of course the military's like,
right.
You know,
because she fought so hard to get in. And they like, no.
Well, it almost worked
it
for
almost
them.
Worked.
Because in the commotion, the guy got him not to look for, because there was only two wristbands out of the three of them. Yeah. But he got them to go overlooked without his wristband. And, you know, all the commotion, the military guys like, all right, go through. And I'm like, 100%, thank you, kid. Kid's like, they're not my parents.
Yeah. Yeah, they took me from my mom. I'm like, Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
And then he checks and he's like, the wristband was cut off. And like, oh, I
Yeah.
was like, thank you so much. Still didn't let the kid on the plane though. It was like,
There's
you
like,
got
oh,
rejected.
buddy, you rejected. Let's go to this tent.
It's like, man, please, he got kidnapped. Just feel sorry or something.
I really thought they was like, nope, you're still unhealthy.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that's why I was like, it's why I don't have like a dislike for any of the characters in this. So from there, she and the kid gets a military ride back to her dad's house where they're supposed to meet up. So now let's follow her husband, who goes through some stuff. So he finds out that his family's not on the plane. The people bum rush the military base like some idiots, and they start shooting, and the plane blows up.
Yep.
Cool. Great job, people.
blows up another plane too.
Yeah, so
And
they
that
lost two
second
planes.
plane, people were still on.
Yeah.
God, people. Look, I'm not mad at anyone that is selected to survive. I'm not mad at them. Good for them. They get to go and survive. I just want to find a way that I can survive. Mm-hmm. Like, why am I trying to? Why am I going to take action that's going to stop other people from surviving?
Yeah, that and like you have no chance of getting on that plane.
Yeah.
Like, well, one thing what I thought
Now
was
this
interesting.
is what I said. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel like it's partially fault of the government because they do not explain on why certain people are selected, and people were thinking that people were random because
That
people
was
kept
random.
asking like, "Oh, why was this person selected and not this person? What makes me not good, or what makes my family not good?" So they didn't fully explain on why. Well, they didn't explain at all. Like, we didn't find out into the people who were selected was at the military base, and it was like, this is the reason why you were selected.
Yeah.
Because when they were going there, he didn't know on why they were selected.
No, he didn't know. Well, he met up with someone which explained it in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
But first, what did he do first? I forgot.
Before we get to that, I wanted to mention that was interesting was that even people in the military wasn't selected.
True, they were volunteering.
They were all volunteering, which tells you a lot about how people got selected and what was happening.
Yeah.
So like you bum rushing this thing is like they really are only selecting basically skilled workers.
Yeah. For a good reason.
Yeah, I mean they got to rebuild the country.
Yeah.
The world.
Yeah, they got to rebuild the world. Like, yeah, if you're not an engineer, we don't need you. I mean that sounds awful, but it's like real talk. But like you said, like that, what they were doing was just not logical.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense. Like you could use this time to go find another way to survive.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, stop wasting all that time. Let's find a way to survive.
Yeah.
Um.
So, you know, the father at the last minute realized that his son would have been rejected because the one guy, he talked to a random person on the plane and he was like, my sister kid got rejected because she was sick. Mm-hmm. And that's when he realized, like, oh, my wife and kid is not on no plane. I got to get off. So he gets off at the last minute. That's when people started rushing in and shooting and death and fires and bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
So he hitches a ride so he can meet her at her father's house in Kentucky.
Yep.
And that's, again, when people saw his wristband and decided,
We're going to take your wristband.
we're going to take your wristband. I will kill you for this wristband. And dude's like, it's not going to work. They already rejected me. It's not going to work.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He already had the conversation. Like, he had a conversation with someone. It's when we found out that, like, oh, he got selected because of his job. Because the guy he was talking to, his mother got selected because she was a doctor.
Yeah.
Which, we need doctors.
Yes.
And you know what we don't need? Philosophers. Just a little jab at philosophy majors.
Anybody can be a philosopher when no one else is, when there's a bunch of people not around.
Oh.
And maybe one economist. One.
Yeah, that's all.
Just
we
one.
need.
So yeah, you overheard the conversation with him and that he and his family was rejected. So why are you trying to steal this wristband? The military has that information.
Yeah, that and it's like they're supposed to check your ID. Maybe you can get in through the confusion, but if they scan your wristband, they're going to tell you no.
Yep.
So like it was so dumb. Anyways, they get into this big old fight. Poor Colin. I feel bad for Colin, and we only known him for 15 seconds, and I was
Yeah.
like, Colin, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they
Shout out
attack
to King
him,
Match.
and the guy Colin, the person whose mother was the doctor, he ends up dying because of the car crash. And our Gerard Butler, our character, ends up killing one of the people that attacked him. Which again, it's like, I'm sorry, like now he has that to deal with because people want to be idiots. Which,
Yeah, it's dumb. And the guy was like mad, like because he's Scottish.
yeah, that's why he
Is he
wanted.
Scottish?
He was like, "Where are you from?" He said, "Atlanta." And he's like, "That's not what I mean," because I believe he's Scottish, and so you can tell that he's not originally from America. So he just all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, he's not originally from America. He doesn't deserve."
Right, he must be taking a true American spot or something.
Which can you be less racist, sir? Just a little
And I
bit
believe
less
in
racist.
This day and age, in this time,
Oh,
you will
absolutely.
have people read away.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Which is why I commended them in their selection, since Colin's mother was obviously selected as a doctor, for not being racist in their selection.
Yeah,
Just
but-
choosing the people with the professions.
Yes.
Thank
If
you.
we didn't know, I'm sorry, Colin was black.
Yeah.
If that's not clear,
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, we have to explain. Yeah, we have to explain.
Yeah. So, yeah, so he got messed up and then he had to travel. He got another ride,
Yeah.
which was fine this time. Wait, did he get another ride?
No, he stole a car. Well,
stole it, yeah,
He left
he-
a note.
He broke into someone's house, left a note. I don't know why. They're not coming back. But
I know because he said, "I will bring it back." I'm like, "How, bro? How you bringing that car back?"
He really didn't. That car got destroyed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids. They lost their car.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So yeah, he took it, and then they all meet up at the father's house.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, but now they have to still try and catch a plane.
Yes, so Colin told him that they heard that a guy in Canada was giving rides and that they were all going to go to Greenland because that's where one of the bunkers were.
Yeah,
And so they're going to try to catch this flight from Canada to Greenland.
yeah.
And there's like, how's it going to work? And basically he's just like, die try.
Which
is
is
real
fair
talk.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So that's what they do for the rest of the movie. They drive. Craziness ensues because you got meteors falling everywhere.
Molten rock?
I'm like, ugh. One lady got hit while she was running.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's messed up.
Yeah, she's running like there's fiery rocks falling everywhere. She's running. She gets hit by one of the rocks. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Jeez,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
It just since we recently watched Volcano, Dante's Peak,
Yeah.
it reminded me of how the guy's girlfriend died. And I was like, please don't let one of these rocks go through the car. It didn't happen. Car got hit by a few of them though.
It did.
It did. Everybody else's car caught on fire though.
Well, he was in the F-150?
Was that an F-150?
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Sorry, it was built for tough, so hashtag not sponsored. But yeah, so they had to deal with that craziness, but they are together, and that's good. One, they didn't film the Canadian border because that is definitely not what it looks like coming from New York. Just saying.
No. So this movie it starts off taking place in Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty clear that this entire movie was filmed in Atlanta, even though they traveled across the country. This movie was filmed in Atlanta. Although I found it very interesting that like no one was at the border.
Well, why would you be?
I don't know.
Am I working as the border crossing guard? I'm like, nah, ain't nobody there.
I feel like
it was still. I feel like the military would be at the border.
No, I think
I don't
they're
think
all
it-
dealing with getting the
Could be.
people
or maybe
to
they
the
just
bunkers.
don't care anymore.
Yeah. Honestly, why do you care about protecting the country's borders when afterwards there really isn't going to be a country?
What country you live in?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm just want to pretend like it's gonna be logical.
All right. I mean, I thought it was cute.
Yeah, my wife didn't believe either that there wouldn't be, but I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
it would
don't
be.
believe it.
I don't think it would
I
be. You
feel
think
like
the
I
military
feel
would
like the
move down there?
military.
I definitely feel like they will tell Border Patrol like you guard our borders, no matter what.
Uh,
For what? If I was border patrol, I wouldn't do it.
because I feel like they still wouldn't. Countries will still not have people cross the borders. I honestly
Okay,
feel
yeah.
like that.
For the last 2 days that you're a country, because like at the end of this movie, none of these countries exist, right?
Yeah. I just feel like it's something that they will still want to do. I mean, I'm
Speaking
glad.
of that, how long ago did you think the president left the United States?
Oh man, he was
He was
gone
out.
way
Yeah, right.
before they start sending out those messages to people.
Yeah. But okay, so they make it to the plane and they stop the plane by driving in front of it before it could take off. Fair enough, and they let him on. That I mean, that's basically the end of this. I feel like was fine, and mostly believable. I mean, like what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it was fine. They made it to the bunker just before the meteor comet hit. They were in it for 9 months. Everything got destroyed, but they're ready to rebuild. I feel like the movie had a bigger impact if they didn't survive, or if they did survive and it was like nuclear fallout or something.
Now they talked about radiation.
They said there was no sign of radiation.
Okay, because I was like, would there be? I know, like it's a comment.
I don't know enough about space
I don't.
to say so. I have
I
no
don't.
idea.
I feel
don't
like the
think it
impact is
necessarily- I think initial impact, yes,
well,
but
the
I
heat.
don't think it would last. Yeah, yeah, the heat. But I think because they said they were there in 9 months. I think 9 months would probably be too long unless just constantly burning and out of control.
No, there's the initial impact, and then the planet's surface probably has to like
Cool
re-regulate
down.
the temperature. But I don't know how hot does it get. I'm gonna need to. I don't know if they consulted any scientists on this.
I'm gonna say no because it appears to be really inaccurate,
Okay. Yeah.
which is fine.
Yeah, because I was like, there are a few things which I'm questioning. Like, I know the surface would be hot. Would it be? I know the initial impact will be too hot to survive. Like we saw, what was it? Miami get destroyed. Tampa, yeah, completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Which, oh man, it was crazy that the shockwave hit Atlanta, which was it's believable.
It's believable. How many shockwaves
Yeah.
did this dude get hit with in this movie?
Like 3. at
He
least.
would have
Three.
his insides would be mush. They'd be straight up mashed potatoes. Like,
It was cool. It was cool for the movie though.
just come on.
Especially that first one. Like they don't hear anything. They hear like the impact, and they're like, "Whoa, what's that?" He goes outside, and then all of a sudden, it's just like, whoosh. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
yeah, and yeah, Tampa was incinerated. So, yeah.
Well, not really messing
But
up.
yeah, there's the thing. Like, I know it's a smaller impact, but that shockwave. Atlanta's not that far from Tampa, right? That shockwave, it wasn't like deadly heat and all that. No one was dying from that shockwave that happened when it hit there. So the bigger one, yes, it initially kills everything, but do we, like Derek said, do we need to stay under the ground for 9 months?
I'm gonna say maybe because I feel like there will be some radiation that goes along with that. Then you also gotta know that like the ash and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't breathe that
the air.
in. It will block the sunlight. So there's a lot of other factors that go into that where they have to wait
I
that
didn't think
long
about
until it's clear enough for everyone to be able to go out and
Yeah.
live.
And
Some
this
birds lived.
proves on why she selected to live.
Say that again.
I said this would prove on why you would be selected to continue on, and we're not.
Yes.
Your explanation of that alone.
To be honest, it really doesn't even matter. Like, even if I was a computer engineer, I still would not be selected I doubt it.
Right.
It's not necessary for society.
It is not. It is also something that regular people could learn.
Yes.
It's true.
So, and you don't need that technology right off the bat.
No.
So, cool. No matter what I've done in life, I would not be selected for this. Um, but some birds survived, right?
They always survive. Not surprising.
Where'd they go?
Where do all animals go? They always survive.
Right. Yeah, animals always survive.
Yeah.
I don't know where they go.
So was the best chance to survive this to be on the opposite side of the? But there's water on the opposite side of the planet.
Yeah, I don't know what your chances are. Because at the end of the movie, they have a bunch of radio cars where the different sites were checking in, and they also showed the cities that got destroyed. So
Yeah,
Paris,
Sydney was destroyed,
and-
which is pretty far away from where.
yeah.
Impact
So it was definitely, it affected the whole world. I don't know if there was one place you could
And it
say
would definitely
go
would
here.
cause earthquakes and tsunamis as well
Yeah,
with impacts that strong. That definitely
Yeah.
would have.
yeah. I don't know if there was one place that would say Hawaii is safe.
It's surrounded by too much water. I would not.
Oh
be,
no, yeah.
yeah.
Don't go to an island. I don't know. Do you go to Idaho or something like the middle of nowhere and they're like this place is safe?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, like I said, I would have tried to find something. Well, one, please inform the public more, and then trying to find
Yeah.
something underground.
Well, yeah. Well, let's say okay, if it hits Southern Europe, like what's the furthest I need to be away? 5,000 miles.
I would head west, and we gonna go for like Oregon, Idaho.
I said Idaho.
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's in the
Washington.
middle and it's far. It
Yeah, that's what I would go for.
seems like the best option.
Yeah, and then try and find something underground, even if it had to be a sewer. I don't know, like.
Oh, okay. Just test the air quality first before you do that.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like,
I'm just
well,
saying.
I'm not gonna do a basement. There's no way I survive. I feel like nah.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, sometimes you don't test the air quality, you'll be dead in seconds.
Okay. Or try to find
Yeah,
someone's doomsday shelter.
You're in Idaho, you'll definitely find one of those.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. That's all I got about the movie. We talked about the ending, right?
Yeah, I mean, we we talked about the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. So what's next? We talking about nitpicks?
Are we going to skip my random movie facts?
Oh, random movie facts. Let me know. What's the random
Okay.
facts?
So, Sam Elliott, if you don't know, that's the old guy from Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
He was originally going to play that girl's father,
Okay.
the one who stayed behind in Kentucky, but he had to back out. So they got that one guy who I've seen in other stuff, but I do not know his
He
name.
was Stick from Daredevil.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
Yes, that's
Yep.
right. So I thought that was interesting. I like Sam Elliott. He would have fit just fine.
He would have been fine.
Yeah. Okay, so this movie was originally supposed to release in the summer of 2020.
Mhm.
It got pushed back a bunch of different release dates until they finally decided just to release it on demand. It was released on demand everywhere, so Amazon, Hulu, HBO, whatever, wherever you can buy a movie.
Okay.
It did, so it had a budget of $35 million. Internationally, it made about $45 million before they had to push it. It never got released in North America, but they estimate that it made about $60 to $80 million off of on demand.
Okay. I feel like it would have made more if it actually hit theaters. This was a decent movie.
Yeah, I felt like for a movie I've never heard of,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this movie would really have served to be shown in theaters.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that it
Man, the
couldn't
question
be.
is, would we have watched this if it came
No.
out? I don't think we would have.
Because when it
I
got
don't
released,
think-
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. So, maybe it did fare better.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean, because I've only watched it because it showed up on HBO.
Right. That's the thing. So
Yeah. And it was so random. I was like, I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it, and I'm like, what's Greenland? And you're like disaster movie. I was like, what? Because that's not what entered my mind when you said Greenland. I'm like, what?
Well, when you asked me, I had to look it up.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that's interesting. Okay, also, so there is an Osgood Canada? Is that how you pronounce that city that they went to?
Sure.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the city is real, but there is no airport there.
Oh, okay.
So
Fair
yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I don't think that city is that big for it.
Yeah. So now here's some facts about um comments, I guess.
Okay.
I'm assuming these people are correct. I do not know.
So facts quotation.
Yes, always.
Quotations.
This is just things I've read on the internet. So we mentioned before how it's not very scientifically accurate.
Mhm.
So, if the first comet initially hit in Tampa based on the Earth's orbit and the amount of time they said before the big one hit, the big one would have missed the Earth.
I did think it was weird that the Earth just was continuously getting pelted. I'm like, is that because normally there's like one or two impacts? Even now, like we get hit
A
by
lot of
stuff, and I'm like,
a
just
lot of times, even when they say it's a small comet or asteroid coming toward or Earth, it missed because of our rotation
Mm-hmm.
of the Earth.
now this was an interstellar comet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Question: how did it get past Saturn, Jupiter, the Moon, and the Sun, and get to Earth?
Well, that was the big thing. They all kept saying like, we don't know where it came from, like it came through a black hole or something. And
Yeah, I'm like, how did? Because usually, and that's like most of our, and I guess you could take it with a grain of salt, but most of the uh, flying objects in space, most of them don't hit Earth because of those planets, and especially our moon. Because one, the gravitational pull from those planets will stop them. Now, I mean, yes, it can hit Earth. Things hit Earth, but I feel like the likelihood of this, especially what you mentioned there, yeah, seems a bit low.
it's unlikely. Which I mean, for it's a natural disaster movie, so a lot of it is like this is unlikely.
Yeah, yeah.
Over exaggerated. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm fine with that. So another thing about the comment, so the big one. For something that big, when they enter the atmosphere, the light would have been so bright, everyone would have been blinded, and the heat would have been so intense they would have burned it up. So
Oh,
that's
You
not
said when the
funny.
first one hit.
oh no,
No,
when it
the last
entered,
one.
when it entered the atmosphere,
Oh.
so not even hitting the ground.
Yeah, before it hits, you're all dead anyways.
Okay, so the whole planet just got incinerated.
Well, it's definitely those people in Greenland for sure.
Oh yeah, because they saw it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is kind of a nitpick, kind of a movie fact.
a nitpicky fact.
Yep. Way to go. I feel like, okay, so when they initially get to their first base, they all get wanded with a metal detector.
Mhm.
Shouldn't his pump went off?
It's plastic.
Every piece of that pump is plastic?
Maybe not, but doesn't mean that it sets off a metal detector.
It's a metal detector.
Now all metals work in a metal
At a
detector.
military base,
Okay, maybe
they
right
got
there.
weak sauce metal detectors?
I have no idea. I'm just trying to give a reason. I don't know.
I'm just saying, because I feel like it would have beeped.
Mm-hmm.
They would have looked to see what it is.
Found
And
it.
they would have been like, oh, this kid can't get on. They would have never got separated. And the first hour of the movie would not have happened.
Well, then, this movie wouldn't be as good. So, let's be happy for a weak sauce metal detector.
All right. And now we're into nitpicks.
Okay.
My first one is the mom not fighting hard enough for her kid. We talked about it before, but
I agree.
she didn't fight hard enough.
Yeah. Well, you could feel the movie wanting her kid to be kidnapped in that scene.
I felt like, did she want her kid to get kidnapped? Because she was just kind of like, oh, no.
I did feel kind of like he cut her wristband off, and then it was just like that, and she just let him run back into the car.
Just so ridiculous. She did
Yeah,
not
she let
fight
him run
him.
back to the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
would have
she's
tackled
not
him. I would have
fighting.
pushed him in front of a moving car or something.
Yeah.
You know, we fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Poked your eyes out.
yes. I'm like, dude, she should have been bloodied and just
Yeah,
unable
because
to
this
move.
person's trying to kidnap your kid.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sinking my nails into your skin. Like, he's gonna have scratches and like he's gonna be damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't happen. But that was plot wanting the kid to be
Yeah,
kidnapped.
I mean, this is more of a so the movie can happen type of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So when he gets the first emergency alert, right? He's at the grocery store. He goes home. I would have should have kicked everybody out my house.
Yeah.
Grabbed the wife and said, "Yo, we gotta pack a bag and go. I don't know what's happening." They told me pack a bag and they're gonna call me again later. I would have straight up kicked everybody out my house.
I don't think it matters for the long run, but yeah, 100%. I get that alert and it's like we gotta go. Well, I have family that I need to talk to. So I mean, but my immediate family is getting in the car and we're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, no,
100%.
like you're going to handle your family business, but I'm not going to have a house full of people.
Yeah, no.
I'll be like, yo, y'all got to go. For sure.
Question, how come she didn't get it on her phone? That's a nitpick. It only showed up in the house TV.
The house
her
TV.
phone. How come
his
they didn't
phone.
send it to her phone?
Yeah, and then, like, why did it only play once?
Yeah.
And then it just went right back to the news. It should be playing nonstop.
Nonstop. Also, if it goes to your phone, the alert stays there. When I get an Amber Alert,
It stayed there.
it stays on my phone. So when I look at my phone, it's like, oh wow, I had an Amber Alert a while ago. So yeah, like that.
Yeah.
It's weird. One, it should have went to her phone, and it should have like stayed as an alert on her phone. Like she shouldn't have been surprised by it on the TV. It's weird that that whole thing's weird.
Agreed. So when I get on the plane in Canada, my initial thought was like, there's no way this small plane can make it to Greenland.
Oh, just from where they are. all the
Yeah,
way to
from
Greenland?
Canada to
I don't know
Greenland.
where whatever that city is. Where is it?
They were
Because
coming from
didn't they say
upstate
it
New
was
York.
Then they said it was going to be an 8-hour flight.
Probably they were leaving from. It's in Ontario, so like,
Well, so Eastern Canada.
yeah.
So they might just have to cross the ocean.
I looked it up.
Okay.
That plane cannot make it.
Can't make it. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it can make it about halfway.
Especially with them being over capacity, they're using more fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, not a true nitpick. I was just like, I watched and I'm like, that's a small plane.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the plane to be so small, to be honest. But okay.
All right. Other nitpick. I have two more. It's really cold in Greenland.
Yeah.
So when they crash land in the mountains by some glaciers, they all had on like t-shirts and like no coats, no nothing. I'm like, y'all dead. They don't make it to
didn't
the
walk
bunker.
that far. How long did it take?
They're in the
They
mountains.
said they
of
were
Greenland.
about a mile away.
They're not making that mile walk.
No.
In the
Yeah,
Arctic,
You did.
they're dead.
Without a coat, you're dying 32 degrees
They're dead.
Fahrenheit for anyone listening.
But it's
on the
colder
Celsius
than that, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You would die at freezing without a coat pretty
Yeah.
quickly, honestly.
Yeah. All right, here's my last one. This boy's diabetic, right?
Yeah.
They had about a month's supply of insulin at their house. The lady doctor gave her another week's supply. That boy does not survive for 9 months in a bunker.
I said that. I was like, I told my wife that. I was like, that the kid's dead, right?
He's dead because they weren't taking sick people. So besides Tylenol and aspirin,
They probably don't have insulin.
they don't have insulin.
Can he survive from off of eating? I don't know.
It depends on what type of diabetes he has, which I don't know what type he has. Nor do
Well,
I
it's
know.
type 1 because he needs insulin.
Okay, so does that mean his sugar gets too
Right, 'cause
low?
he has a pump.
His body's not producing. So, yeah, his sugar gets too low. So, he might be able to survive.
Yeah.
with
So
food.
just drink a Coke every time it gets too low?
I don't know.
It's
That's
not a
going to be
dangerous
rough.
game.
I feel like he's not well.
No, he's not well at all.
I was
Also-
I was like, you was gonna lose a whole lot of weight to survive.
Also, even if he survived in 9 months, he's still dead, right? Where are we getting insulin from? There's no insulin factories.
Oh yeah,
He's dead.
he's dead
He
regardless.
doesn't make it.
Is it better that they survived?
I mean, in the movie context, yes, but
Just this kid has no chance.
he does not make it at all. Because where are you getting the insulin from? There's nowhere to get the insulin from. Zero. Like, who's manufacturing? Does anyone know how to? Maybe there's a scientist that knows how to manufacture synthetic insulin.
How long does that take?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And then it's all where he gonna do it at?
I don't. Yeah, there's no labs or anything.
Maybe they built a lab in the bunker so the kid can get. No, I feel like they might have just sacrificed that kid to the wolves and pushed him out of like an emergency hatch or something, and said, "Okay."
I mean, yeah, but yeah, after surviving 9 months, he doesn't make it. Like, you don't.
Yeah.
What is he gonna do? There's nothing. There's nothing else. There's nothing else for him to do. So that's why they weren't taking people with chronic illnesses.
Yes, for that very reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the kid's dead.
He's
Just
so
so
dead.
if you watch this movie, just know he's dead. Just- yeah.
Well, they look like it was the very next day, and then they said 9 months because
Yeah.
everybody looks the same
Yeah,
way.
they look real. Those must be some nice, quarters they got up in there because they look nice and healthy.
I do not doubt that there was enough for survival.
That's true. I believe that.
Because they said
yeah.
this was a Cold War bunker. Now, here is my major nitpick of the entire movie. Why are there only like 5 bunkers to go to? A Cold War era bunker? Do you know how many of those there are in the United States itself? Why are we going to Greenland?
Was it the safest place?
I don't know. Greenland was close to the impact.
That was very true. I was like, is this bunker going to survive?
Very true. Because they said northern Europe, and I'm like, well, isn't the next country Greenland?
Yeah, it's literally the next country.
There was more than 5
Iceland.
bunkers. wasn't there?
Iceland's in between there, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. It took some of the brunt of the impact from the Green.
Nah, Iceland no longer exists. It's just lean.
Like, there are several bunkers in the United States that can withstand a nuclear attack, right? And I feel like with this impact, if it can withstand a nuclear attack, it could have withstand this meteor.
But it had to be big enough to accommodate all of the people and for them to survive for nearly a year inside.
Split people up.
So
You
just
send
little
some
groups?
people to the Greenland one, enough to survive there. Some people to this bunker, enough to survive there, right? Instead of, we got a Beijing bunker and a Greenland bunker and a Beirut bunker. Good job, world. They could have saved so many more people.
That's my thing. How come in every movie there's always like these super secret hidden bunkers that the U.S. I mean, do those things exist for real that we just don't know about?
Yeah, actually, this morning, it was mentioned doing a talk that there is they mentioned a bunker that is in a mountain. I forgot what state it's in, but it was a Cold War. It was so interesting that this came up, but it was a Cold War era bunker that could survive a nuclear blast. They do exist. The Cold War happened.
No, I get that. I feel like in every movie, it's like, oh, we can just send people here, and I just like, are these things really here, just up and ready to be run? Which is another thing. How the government knew about this for a long time. They had to get that thing ready.
Yeah.
For 1,000 people.
Yeah. Well, we got that. We have a seed vault.
Oh, where's that at?
I don't know where it's at. I don't think it's in the U.S., but there is a vault that has tons and tons of seeds of plants in case of emergency.
Mm-hmm.
So
where are these Cold War bunkers on the East Coast?
I don't know, to be honest.
I mean, I just
Is
want
there
to.
any on the East Coast? I feel like there'll be more in the middle of the country, West Coast, like
I just
Area
need
51.
to know where the closest one is. So when the world ends, that's where I'm headed.
Yeah, we need to find out.
Yes.
Just Google Cold War era bunker. Well, also military bases. Like, I feel like there's something. You
I
could
feel
go
like
to.
Area 51 is probably super safe.
Area 51. Honestly, it's where I'm going. Oh, they shoot me before I get there, don't
Yes, they will.
Yeah,
And they're
would.
probably still there.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't protect the secrets, okay? Look, the world's ending. Just let me in, okay? And look, you're not selected. I'm not selected. Let's see if we can survive.
Okay.
That's where I'm driving, Area 51, because that's like the biggest thing that I know.
All right. You know what else I was thinking while he was driving from Kentucky to northern or southern Canada?
Mm-hmm.
Would he have found enough gas to fill up that truck?
It's a truck, no.
Because people, come on, that little gas outage we had,
Oh my god.
and people flipped out, and I'm like,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
there's no way he found
would've
enough
been
gas
no
stations
gas
to fill up that
left.
truck.
Yeah, it would have been no gas.
It was super efficient gas that he had in the truck from the
You
start.
see that big old truck?
Yeah, it probably had a V8, which
He had the world's
Nah,
biggest truck.
nope. Nope.
yeah, no. No. But yeah, that was my biggest nitpick was the fact that there was like, for the United States, there was one bunker for these people to go to, and I'm like,
There
What
had
do
to
you
be a
mean?
reason that they chose that one. They must have ran some numbers and said this one has the most chance to survive.
well, it goes back to what we said in the beginning. Okay, if there's a lower chance for people to survive, we still can send, maybe, yes, we send our best people to the Greenland bunker to ensure they survive, right? Mm-hmm. Can we send the rest to the other bunkers just in case?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
You know, Lord. But yeah, that was it. All right, what else you got?
That was the last one.
That was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we rating the movie?
Yes.
Okay, I'll start. I'm going to rate this movie. I'd pay for that. A very good I'd pay for that.
I'd agree. Same rating. I'd pay for that.
Yeah. Derek?
I was going to say watch while folding clothes because there was a lot of nitpicks I couldn't get past.
Oh.
Like what?
nitpicks?
The the boy wouldn't have survived. They wouldn't have made it. I don't know. I just feel like it was written well, yes, but
And shot well. And well
and
acted.
shot well, yes. But when it came to like getting to their destination and all of that, it just reminded me of 2012, and I'm just like, that's the same reason on why we critique that movie. Is just like they wouldn't have survived half that stuff that they
We
survived.
critique 2012 because it's a bad movie, and they had
I don't
stupid
even remember watching it.
giant earthquakes and dumb stuff like that. I mean, you're right. This movie does follow the disaster movie cliche where the family is going to survive. Absolutely. But I don't think that it was too unrealistic survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I believe.
I
mean, in
would
real
say
life.
this. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say in real life, yeah, they don't make it, but in the way they had to make it, it wasn't so far out of time. Besides
Yeah.
the gas in the truck, like
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, I've said before, I prefer if they didn't make it. I don't like the movie less because they did.
I will say this though. It was a constant in between. I will pay for that. Watch while folding clothes. So I would say that because I would say this: if it were to come on TV and I seen it while I was flipping through the channels, I would watch it.
okay. Well, I would say this: this is one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Yes, I think this is the second movie that we actually liked that we watched this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, was last week movie the first one that we liked all year?
Yes.
A Quiet Place
That
too.
was
A Quiet Place
too.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. I would say this.
All right.
I think this is probably the best disaster movie. Now, wait. I still like myself some Twister. Twister's just entertaining.
I was gonna say over Twister.
So Twister's
Yeah.
number one, but this will be my number two.
I mean, like, I like The Day After Tomorrow, but
I do too. I do like the day after.
I would
tomorrow.
not rate it. I'd pay for that.
No, yeah, no. The
See,
day after
I
is
would pay- I
definitely.
would pay for that.
Are you? Oh, okay.
You like? Wait, hold on. You're telling me A Day After Tomorrow is better than this movie? There is no way.
You want to talk about people who should have died in a movie?
That
Dude.
one makes
Everybody-
less scientific sense than this one
Dude,
does.
they went into a library and closed doors against a giant icicle thing, and apparently closing the door stops ice from
yeah,
forming.
yeah. The frost is like, oh my gosh, a door! I can't
That
get
doesn't
through
make no
it.
sense. Didn't it go through doors to get there?
Yeah, it did.
Like, no, there's no way you can sit there and tell me that you
Look.
don't like this movie because they should have died.
You want to know if frost goes through doors? Ask the people in Texas earlier this year.
Right. All the doors was closed. It was still cold.
So yeah, no. I'm talking about Day After Tomorrow. No, I enjoy that movie. It's not better than this.
No.
And I would say I didn't care about the people winning Day After Tomorrow.
No. No.
These people
didn't
I
care
actually
about the
didn't
people
want to
in the
die.
Yeah, I felt like for something that was not that long, they managed to introduce and tell you about these people and get you to care about these people in a quick amount of time. I think it was well acted all the way around. Even the
They
bad
had good
people.
actors though.
They did. There
They
was a
had
lot.
good.
There was a lot of people like, oh hey, that's that one person, and I'm like trying to remember where I've signaled from.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that were like, how do you get like that many people to be in such a random movie?
I don't know. Because even the production companies, I was like, I've never heard of these production companies.
So, STX also did Hustlers, which is a movie that I think Jennifer Lopez won an. Did she win an Oscar or did Hustlers win an Oscar?
I don't know. One of them.
I think the movie won an award. I don't think any actors.
Okay, yeah, but they're the same people behind that movie.
Okay. Oh, cool. All right. Well, 3D Rivals rate Greenland I would pay for that. That is our second highest rating. In case you didn't know, means it gets a 4 out of 5 or higher, because I would rate it higher than 4 out of 5, just not 5 out of 5.
It's not a 5 out of 5. You can give it 4.5,
Yeah,
4.2.
something like that. But it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out on HBO Max. It's definitely interesting. Excellent. It's not a waste of 2 hours.
It's not.
Yeah. That
It is
being
definitely
said,
not.
yeah. That being said, any other thoughts or comments or?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. Next week we're going to be
Check out the
talking.
movie.
Next week we're going to be talking about Loki. That series comes out this Wednesday, so we're excited to see that. Some more Marvel stuff coming out, so we're going to be excited for that. But if you have seen Greenland and you have your own thoughts, where would you have gone? How would you have survived a extinction level asteroid or whatever it is? Comet. Yes, that. How would you have survived that? Let us know in the comments wherever you're watching or listening. We are on YouTube. That link will be in the description below. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/3D Rivals. You can tweet at us 3@3_rivals, as well email us at Gmail, 3drivals@gmail.com. So with that being said, thank you for watching and listening, guys, and peace out.